guess what? It's time for another event. Welcome, magical people, to Zealman's Wizarding World, located 30 miles away from Warner Brothers Studio Tour London, where the movies were made. I just thought I'd add that in there. On this channel, we have deep dives into the latest events. We don't have a NDA with WB, which allows us to do all sorts of spoiler content ahead of time. And we can look into secret pages, which are going to be released and things like that. If you're interested in the secret pages, have a look at this one up here. That should hopefully be coming out at some point soon. DM. If you like that, then hit subscribe and the bell notification thingy-bob to get alerted. We also have the Taskforce Times, which has a really handy quick reference of things like this, and all the tasks and the Foundables. For example, in this one we have a number of Foundables with Aloha Mora. Those are listed in the Taskforce Times, and it also gives you all the icons you need to look for on the map, which is actually the most important thing. Because that's the only thing you can actually see. So to know what icons to click on, taskforcetimes.news is the place to go for that. There's also the fictional newspaper, which we release monthly. And to be honest, I haven't written anything for the next month. Even though I have all the dialogue in advance. So, I've got to get cracking on that. So I may not do a vlog for this mini event. I need to use that time to write stuff. So Imperfect Love Part 2. That starts Tuesday, February 23rd at 7 PM UTC for exactly 1 week. And yes, it's gone from one event to another. We are in a perpetual chain of events now. Some people are getting a little bit tired. It does seem that WB is essentially making the game so busy that if you want to play all events all the time, you kind of need to invest gold and money. Now, the game is free to play, as it were. I would say I kind of agree with them. If I was to release a game, if I want everyone to play every aspect of it at maximum velocity, then I don't know, maybe this would contribute a little bit towards the game. Controversial opinion, but I'm okay with this. I think if I start running into trouble, because I obviously play it quite a lot, I would actually, I do throttle back on adversary events. Because so much that I haven't, because I'm not level 60, I haven't completed all the registries entirely. And for adversaries, you kind of really need to complete that skills tree to make it really effective. And we've not had the exclusive event-only lethal ones yet. I'm sitting back. And what I'm doing is I'm accumulating my red books and actually spending it on the skills tree. So when they do release the really hard adversaries, because I've seen details of that, not their actual how hard they are to defeat, but the fact that they are in a chain where the normal adversaries, you have to beat that before you actually beat the lethal adversary. So it's your normal adversary encounter plus one really badass at the end. So we know roughly how hard it's going to be, and not harder than it is normally, which is fine. I'm okay with it being a hard challenge, purely because once you get a decent level and you complete that skills tree, it's a lot more easier. And adversaries are not a grind feature, as far as I'm aware. As far as I see it anyway, I don't see adversaries as a grind feature. As for our past community day, I never want to see Marauder's map for my life, ever again. Yes, we had 2 yellow shards. One was the Marauder's map, one was the Omnioculars. Perhaps WB should balance the shards together, as in 50-50 of each colour. That might be a little bit less frustrating. Because at least, if you don't need an orange shard anymore, you can just ignore them on the map, right? But if you need one of the yellow ones, and one is like double the spawn rate of the other one, it does get a little bit frustrating. So if they could keep the yellow ones, or the matching shards balanced, that would be better. But anyway, onto this event, because I got completely sidetracked right there. Our rewards are up to 15 restricted section books, 4 total spell books, 10 Dada books, 50 gold. Yeah, I'm off to the books, obviously. Red books for that skills tree, for the adversaries. How this one works. Purple portkeys are 1.5 kilometers still. Been saying that for a year. So brilliant runestones from the brilliant Foundables to get the Fortress Foundables. That's for those who are new at this. There are a few tweaks. Not as bad as the part 1 tweaks, because that was awful. If you want to see how sticky that got, you can watch my vlog up here. Mistakes were made in part 2, and in part 1 was a struggle not to get taken to the registry early because they pushed that back. They haven't done it this time. So one thing we also have was in part 1. It's now in part 2 because the part 1s are usually very similar and the part 2s are usually very similar. But we actually have in part 2 we also have boosted normal Foundables, and these are Argus Filch, the Executioner, the Thestral, Demiguise, Mooncalf, and Buckbeak. What do they have in common, you ask? Alohomora is the spell required to free them. So I guess if you want to relate it to February being Valentine's Day, I guess you have the key to their heart. Oh dear. So we'll talk a bit more about this in the task list later. I can't believe I came up with that crap. What can you do now? Well, a little bit tricky. Firstly, ensure you have 2 trace section tonics in your vault before the event, all brewed, all sitting there, well ahead of time. Because we have a Master Notes task, which was previously 6, and is now 7. It's also pushed back down to another set of tasks a bit further down the line. So, yes. So what you'll need to do, if you want to optimize that, is brew in advance. So load up your normal cauldron with 4 potions. Now, the first 3 could be any potion you like. The 4th one, ideally, should be a relatively short one. But try and time it so you have 3 of the 4 brewed by the time the event starts, or when you're going to play the event. Collect the 3 for set of task number 1, because you need to collect 3 potions, or brew 3 potions. Then if you can time it right, you can use the Master Notes on the 4th potion on set of task number 3, because you need to use your Master Notes. With any luck, if you time it right, it will complete immediately, or cost you 1 or 2 gold to complete it, and then you can use Master Notes again on whatever you want to brew. You can also complete this trick using the gold cauldron as well. So you can put something in the gold cauldron that's going to finish just as you get to set of task 3, and then you can then use Master Notes, make that complete quickly, and then put more stuff in afterwards, or queue that one in advance actually if you're doing it all. You can put whatever you like in there, just try and get your first one to finish. Set task number 3. A little complicated, does require a bit of maths, but if you want to optimize it, then that's kind of the way to do it. Potter 101 has a potions brew time calculator theme, which will be in the description if you want to try and calculate that yourself. Personally, I usually play over a couple of days, and this is when I'll make sure I have a break. Because I can just cast Master Notes every hour and a half or so, just throughout a day while I'm at work, and then just play again in the evening again, the second day. Brilliant bundles! We have a free store pack, as usual, and it is always the same thing. The bonus assignment bundle has changed. They've removed the 10 potent stimulos and 5 wit sharpening potions and replaced them with 10 trace tonics. For the same price. I can see why they've done this, because they've got rid of the waste potions task now. Thank God, I got rid of that one. And people are also struggling from home, so you can understand why they've replaced, or at least added trace tonics and removed stimulos. But are 10 trace tonics the same value as 10 potent stimulos and 5 wit sharpening? Yeah, I don't think so. The Wizard's Unite Hub also has this value down as only 1,270 gold, as opposed to the 2,100 gold I think it costs. So, yeah, I would be giving that one a skip. Essentially speaking, you can brew the potions and you can buy the other things in the shop much cheaper than the bundle. So, yeah. So moving on to our Foundables. We have Foundables and we also have the descriptions. And say none of the other NDA group have descriptions. Ha ha ha. Because I can sneak into the code and get them. So the wild ones. We have 20 of these. That's the portrait of Bellatrix Lestrange returning to Malfoy Manor. Arguably Voldemort's most loyal follower, Bellatrix Lestrange's devotion to the Dark Lord ran deeper than her mere allegiance to his cause. Those who had the displeasure of knowing her described her ruthless, obsessive pursuit of her master's love and adoration. Though it's unknown if he reciprocated her feelings, it's rumoured that she may have bore him an heir prior to her death. Cursed child, hint. Much. Portrait of Voldemort returning to Malfoy Manor, which is our current background of choice. So, turns out I forgot to actually record the dialogue. Oopsie. So anyway, cold, ruthless and pragmatic, Lord Voldemort was widely believed to be incapable of love. He did, however, at least value Bellatrix Lestrange as evidenced by his trust in her and the rage he exhibited during the Battle of Hogwarts when he learned of her demise at the hands of Molly Weasley. Okay, now on with the show. The challenging one. Need 3 of these. This is the Sword of Gryffindor replica. That's being returned to Bellatrix Lestrange's vault in Gringotts. I can never say her name smoothly. This replica of the Sword of Gryffindor was put in place by Albus Dumbledore prior to his death. Dumbledore had intended to leave the real sword to Harry Potter in his will, but, correctly predicting that the Ministry would confiscate it, bestowed him this replica instead. Believing it to be the genuine artifact, the replica was moved from Hogwarts to Lestrange's family vault at Gringotts, after some members of Dumbledore's army attempted to recover it. Bellatrix Lestrange then proudly guarded it for her master, and subsequently lost her shit when Harry Potter turned up with it. So that was fun. The walking one. You need 5 of these, also available in the bonus reward. And that's the Mors Mordred Dark Mark, returning to the Astronomy Tower, Hogwarts Castle. During the First Wizarding War, Deathly Hallows? During the First Wizarding War, Death Eaters would cast this symbol into the sky with the Mors Mordred spell, whereupon a billowing green smoke would form the iconic skull and snake. This warned that an act of aggression had been committed on the premises. It's supposed to be murder, actually. The spell is said to have been a creation by Voldemort himself. Well, given the skull and the snake, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't his. The awarded one, you get from completing tasks. That's the Mass Breakout from Azkaban Daily Prophet issue. Returning to the Daily Prophet newsstand, funny enough. This issue of the Daily Prophet from 1996 details the escape of 10 Death Eaters from Azkaban prison. Perhaps the most notable among them was Bellatrix Lestrange. The article includes quotes from the then Minister of Magic, Cornelius Fudge, who blamed the escape on Sirius Black. Since this time, the Ministry has recanted and corrected these statements. Okay, so that's our Foundables. We're going to move on to the task. What we're going to do, we're going to go through the tasks themselves and their rewards, and then we're going to go through the changes between this part 1 and the previous part 1, and then we're going to try and work out why they made those changes, and then we're also going to go through some tips themselves. So set task number 1, collect ingredients or portmanteaus 2 times, brew 3 potions, return 12 brilliant portrait of Bellatrix Lestrange Foundables. So in comparison to part 1 of Try Wizarding Secrets, there are a couple of changes already. Brew 3 potions replaces the use 2 trace tonics. If you prepare in advance, then you complete this much faster now than you would have been able to do then, obviously. Return 12 brilliant Foundables now rewards 2 powdered Dragon Claw instead of 2 strong Stimulate potions. So it looks like they're removing Stimulate potions from the rewards as well as the bundles. But we'll see one of those return in a bit. So task number 2, cast Alohomora 15 times. Use 2 tonics of trace detection and collect 6 brilliant Imperfect Love runestones. So cast Alohomora 15 times replaces the return 20 Foundables. So less Foundables are required, but you need the right Foundables. So this is where the boosted ones come in handy. There are a number of boosted ones, so hopefully they shouldn't be too rare. Also try and make that cast as slow as possible. Try and get a fair cast. Basically what you want to try and get that Foundable to resist if possible. Given this way this game works, that's probably highly likely. That way you can get more casts per Foundable because you're counting casts, not the Foundable. So if you can get like 3 or 4 or 5 maybe, not likely, but so if you can get 2 casts for Foundable, you need only half. You need 7 or 8. Use 2 tonics for trace detection replaces the use Master Note 6 times at the moment. Use Master Notes actually moves down 1. So assuming you have the 2 trace detections in stock, you should be able to do it within sort of 30 minutes because you bang on the trace detection tonic. It'll last half an hour, then you start the next one. And then you can move on. The Runestones task stays the same, so you can now visit the registry. Place any images in the Part 1 registry. So if you walked the portkeys and did the bonus round last time, you should have the portkey one shimmering. You can get some XP from that. Also, if you followed my tips last time and you managed to get some more of the wild Foundables and stuff, you can claim those now. More XP the better. Get those Runestones. We get 1 strong Extremo potion back. So this is from part 1. This is replacing 1 Dawdle Draft that we don't really use because Dawdle Draft only blocks 3 Dawdles. And if you're going to get them to resist, they're probably going to resist 6 times or more. Especially for things you really, really want. Which is why Extremo potions are much better than Dawdle Drafts. We also get 3 Leaping Toadstools. That replaces the 4 Bitterroot, which is pretty damn good because Bitterroot grows on the floor. Toadstools very rarely crop up, although I did get one the other day. Set task number 3. Use Master Notes 7 times. Defeat 15 foes in Wizarding Challenges. Return 15 brilliant portrait of Voldemort Foundables. So, use Master Notes 7 times. Ugh. So this has moved down from set 2, and it's now 7 instead of 6. So, to be honest, I'm okay with this task, because I can just do it by sitting at my desk and just logging onto Wizarding Night every hour and a half, 2 hours, and just bashing it through between playing. So, nice and easy. Yes, it is a bit of a time ticker task, this one, and there's not really an easy way of cheating it either. Well, unless you pay gold coin. So if you are following the brew guide, now's the time to use your master notes on potion number 4 in the main cauldron, and if you're using the gold cauldron, use it there. 2 strong extremely low potions is down from 3 strong extremely low potions as a reward. So we now have 2 less extremely low potions given to us during the event so far. Set task number 4, earn 7,000 Wizarding XP from Wizarding Challenges. Place 5 images on an Imperfect Love registry page. Collect 15 mysterious note pieces by returning brilliant and imperfect love Foundables. So you can finally place your images on the page, on the part 2 page. Part 1 page you should have done already. You'll be short by 1. You will not have one of them because you get it by completing set task number 4. So a bit of a catch-22. So the best way around this is to place the Sword of Gryffindor replica again. So basically go in that fortress. Ruins number 5. Normally takes 6 or 7 runestones. Should be about 50-50 chance of getting it. So hopefully 6 or 7 runestones should get you there. Earn 7,000 Wizarding XP from Wizarding Challenges. Replaces earn 7,000 Wizarding XP from Traces. I almost missed this one when I was doing the comparison because it's very little text change. So I would recommend the Night Bus session on Discord or joining Wizarding Wednesdays with Expecto Go. Use a Brufio's Brain Elixir. If you use a BBE and do Dark 5, you should be able to complete it with a few, like 3 or 4 runs maybe, with level 5 runestones. The bonus round. Defeat 15 formidable foes in Wizarding Challenges. Yes, we're back to Wizarding Challenges again. Return 45 brilliant and imperfect love Foundables. Earn 12,500 Wizarding XP. Defeat highest chamber unlocked once and cast Alohomora 25 times. So, defeat 50 foes in Wizarding Challenges replaces the complete 10 Wizarding Challenges with 3 or more teammates. So this is way more easier to do on your own, which is good, especially for those in Europe and other countries where it's a bit harder to find a decent amount of people. So the best place to do this one is high ruins or low tower chambers. The best way to grind that one out, easy peasy. Return 45 brilliant and imperfect love Foundables is just the usual grind. It's always been there. And 12,500 Wizarding XP replaces use any 10 extreme potions in Wizarding Challenges, which is great. And probably why they took 2 strong extreme away from us as rewards. Because, well, we're not going to blow them. So they don't want to give them to us because, you know, that's just not, that's beyond the point, right? Yep. That's pretty good. Again, Brufio's Brain Elixir. I would say, yeah, definitely worth making a few of those before we start the event, right? Defeat highest chamber unlocked once. Bit of a pain. This one can be, especially if you've done a night bus session and you've got to do this one as well. So, what I would suggest is, if you have it, have 2 devices, so 2 phones. And if you do your night bus session with Expecto Go, like I will be doing, if you log on, you do set a task number 4. And then on the second phone, which is by your side, so keep 1 on the fortress, because obviously it takes you a long time to find everybody. Keep that 1 phone on there, start the second phone on, go in. It may take you to the fortress, but you can back out. Complete your task on that second phone, and your first phone will continue on in the fortress with everybody else, and you can bash out your highest chamber task. If you don't have a second phone, it's more a pain in the butt, because you have to come out to claim it, and try and find the bus again if you're with a group. Cast Alohomora 25 times replaces the cast 25 great or better spell cast. Thank God for that. So clearly my snark has paid off. I was in communication with Loader for a while as well. I mean, I actually highlighted a few cases of people who had disabilities, and thank God that's gone through. I can't talk too much about that because there was stuff I can't say what we said to each other, but anyway, it's paid off. Also, a lot of the other WooTube community was also petitioning it. So this is good. Say it's a casual game. So again, same as before, opt for the fair casts. That way you can get a few done, hopefully, with one Foundable, which gets you through it a lot quicker without faffing around. And one Brufio's Brain Elixir replaces 2 Wit Sharpening Potions as a reward, which is good because we've got lots of Wit Sharpening Potions coming from friends through gifts. So, yes, and the BBE, obviously, Brufio's Brain Elixir takes a long time to brew. So, this is good. As for the dialogue, recorded it quite a while ago. Got to edit it. So, that'll be out tomorrow. Bash that out quite quickly. Shouldn't take too long. So, yes. So I guess subscribe, hit the notification bell to get alerted to that one. Tips and opinions. Pretty much everything is covered so far on my way through. Try and maximise your brewing for the 7 master notes. That's the kind of only sticky one, really. I was scared for this event, I have to admit. The changes made to part 1 were pretty naff and made it very clunky. So I was kind of, for example, in part 1, trying to time that later runestone collection without being automatically taken to the registry by the game for getting 20 out of 20 Hermiones and Rons. Yeah, that was not fun. So this one should be a lot easier with no stress, or a lot less stress, I guess. The Taskforce times, remember, that has your back. Quick reference guide for any task reminders. So if you want to see what tasks are coming up next, check out that because it's the same link. Quick reference is the same link for everything. So you bookmark that link or add it to your home screen. I'd recommend adding it to home screen. I do, because I also forget, even though I write down thing. So yeah, that same link works for any current running event. So same link. If you're stuck at any event as you're doing it, click that event link and it'll always be some information there for you. Especially if you need to remember what Foundables have the Hello More spell, because I think I'll be looking at it a lot for that because I forget. The extreme burn seems to have gone, thank God, especially with like all the adversary events and that, which burn through extreme lows like anything. We did lose out on 2 as a reward, but that pales in comparison to what we would have lost by blowing 10 extreme lows for no good reason. So let me know in the comments how that makes you feel. Any corrections, again, will be in a pinned comment. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. At the Zealman and Instagram as well for some AR picturey things, which I've just got back into again, finally. Don't forget to hit like if you like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell on that for all the funky stuff, and also the dialogue will be coming out, which is a exclusive to the WooTubers community. I think there's another channel that does them. I said no one's told me who they are yet, so I haven't found out. I'll have to have a look, see if I can actually find them. And finally, don't forget to brush up on your spells, get your wands ready with the Unite.